What's going on, folks? Um, in this video, we are not going to discuss targets per se. I really just wanted to do a video on, in my eyes, how the market kind of works. And I know other people use this method out there, but I would like to kind of put my stamp on it um, in the way that I go about using it, which I really haven't seen many other people go about it the way that I go about it. I get a lot of questions asked on how do I get like exact targets all the time, and um, yeah, so we just gonna go over what I know and how I do it. Before I get into that, I need everybody to subscribe to the channel, put on your notifications so that you will be alerted anytime I drop any new videos. Um, if you have some time other than that and you're on social media, join the Discord. It is $30 a month. Unfortunately, I do require some type of compensation for my time. I also hold group classes, and they are $350 per person. I only take 10 people per month because I'm very in depth with what I do, and I want everybody to learn thoroughly how to do this. Um, all the gains are real, all the lessons are on point, and my time is well worth it as well as your time. Also, if you're on Facebook, as you can see, my Facebook group only has 4 members in it. I just recently started this group. Uh, by the end of the year, I'm sure there's going to be over 1,000 people in here. So if you have the time, join the group and subscribe to the channel. Put your notifications on again so that you can be alerted when I drop videos like this. So most times I'm not dropping any videos of this sort because people actually more or less pay for the education, right? You go to school, college, let's say you pay for college, you go to get certifications and stuff like that, right? So if you want like a specific type of job training outside of the job, you pay for the courses, right? So I feel the same thing or the same way about trading. Also, before I go on, as you can see in the top left corner, there is like a faint image of myself. And I do this for more or less like a watermark purpose. The image is faint because I'm not really looking for the attention to be put on myself. This is about all of you learning how to trade. So, with that said, I'm gonna go over a few things on this chart and just kind of show how I follow a chart, and if it's helpful and you want further instruction, you can send me a message, and if you would like to take the class, we can take the class and get you in shape just like I am. All right. So, with that all being said, let's dive into this chart. Now, before I dive into the chart, I'm going to erase my chart with the hopes that I can push the undo button and get everything back by the end of all of this. So, blank chart, the SPY. This is one of my favorite tickers to trade. At one point, it was the only ticker I traded. Um, I've been trading in the stock market since, I would say, 2020, maybe 2019, maybe 2019. Prior to that, I've been trading the crypto market since it's began. I've been trading Forex a little bit before that. And I would say within like the last 3 years, I've been dabbling in like the futures markets. In total, I want to say I have about 14 years experience in the markets, but I would say that my best years when I've actually like honed into this probably came around like 2020, right? Like when I started taking it serious and actually wanting to figure it all out. Before I was just trying things, making money, losing money, um, not holding on to shares or in crypto, not holding on to the coins, more or less just like trading them back and forth, taking like the crumbs off the table, right? And I would always miss out on like the big moves in the market, right? I would always be there right before the big move happens, and then I would take my money out for a small gain, and then this huge move just takes place and it leaves without me. Since then, I've caught a few big moves, but I still do at sometimes make the mistake of jumping out of some plays a little early. All right, so with that all said, y'all got a little background on me and my, I guess, my experience in trading. So now to my thought process in trading. So I know there are other people that trade similar to me. Um, I used to be the person that throws every indicator there is out there on the screen. Um, I was around kind of at the beginnings of Trading View when things weren't kind of like organized per tier. Like They did have the different tiers that you could buy into, but as TradingView got more popular, they moved different things into higher tiers, right? And I just remember personally when it all started, I could put like way more indicators on my screen and all of that. And then as it got more popular, you would have to pay to put even more indicators on the screen or pay more to put more boxes on the screen, like as far as multiple charts in one window and stuff like that. Um, since then, I want to say I've more or less graduated. Um, I'm really not into many indicators at all. Up here in the top left, you can see that I have 11 indicators on here. I do not use all of these indicators at one time. Some of these indicators are more tools in my eyes rather than indicators itself. And anything that is an indicator, you will rarely catch me with it on my screen while I'm trading, right? More times than not, I'm going to analyze my chart and then I will throw the indicator on the chart to see if it matches up with something that I've already um, went through the process of trying to find on the chart. So if it happens to match up with what I see, then I look at it as a plus and more of a possibility that what I see should happen, right? So just taking this chart here, um, we could we can really start right here in this area. This is 2021. Like I said, 2020 was like when I really like honed into this whole thing. 2019 into 2020, this is what really kind of opened my eyes more into like getting into the trading thing. Outside of my past experience, like I said, was more of a crypto thing, but and forex. But once this run up happened in the market and people were just making like crazy money, this is really what kind of opened my eyes into more like there has to be a system behind this. So before I was really into what everybody else was saying, like looking up the news and um, just trying to find different catalysts and all that stuff. I wasn't really into like, yeah, I was into like chart patterns and few things with the trend lines and all that stuff. But I really dug down deep once this kind of happened. So before this was more of like a trial and error thing, just throwing my money around, right? So now we're here, right? And we want to know what's next. So let's go through this whole thing and take a look at what I think and why I think it. So first off, let's go to let's go to the monthly chart, right? If anybody knows or heard of it before, of like top down analysis, I'm more or less one of those type of people as well. I like to start from as far as back as we can go and come into where we are now. As you can see, more or less, the market really doesn't go backwards. It doesn't go like down, right? excuse me, for the most part, the market goes up. It's always going up. Um, do we have periods of when the market takes like a pullback? Of course. But for the most part, the market is always going up. Because the market is always going up, you could sit your money in here and leave it alone and in the next 10, 15 years, which is nothing, right? Especially if you're younger, you'll have some nice money in there. For those that want to get their money a little faster than just sitting their money down, you step into the realm of option trading. And like I said, from here, we can see like different, let's just call it like trajectories on the way up to the top, right? And me, I like to tell people when you're using trend lines, and this isn't a lesson in like basics, right? So what you would want to do is go watch some videos on like the basics of like trend lines and all that other stuff. And then come back to this video to really like more or less like dive into like what I'm uh more or less going through on this video. And again, if you want to really dive into my thought process and the way that I trade, um, you can join one of my classes. Again, I do classes of 10 per month, 350 per person. And by the time you're finished with the month, you'll know a good bit of how to operate on your own in the market. And then you could come back again for like more advanced courses. So I usually do like um the month, and then the next, basically the first 3 months, I'm going to be teaching one set of things. Then the next set of three. So basically per quarter, I'm going to switch the lessons up a little bit, and you could come back per quarter to like sharpen your skills and get a little more information on what I'm doing. But anyway, let's get right into these charts real quick. So first thing I want to do is take some trend lines. I don't like taking biased trend lines. And when I say biased trend lines, that's when people like draw these trend lines and kind of put them where they feel fit that they go. And it's just not my style when it comes to a trend line, right? So when it comes to a trend line, I like to put the trend line straight through to where it has to go. So if I draw a trend line across the bottom of this, right, I'm not going to try to tilt it up to hit this. I'm going to just draw it straight off the bottom of this, right? And drawing it straight off the bottom of this, you see that it hits this point right here, right? So it's here to here. That's it, right? Then if you want to take another trend line from the bottom of this point here and go this way to hit this, then you just keep drawing it and you see that it hits there, right? So hold on, let me just draw this out real quick. So we do it again. You see that it hits here. Then you see this became a resistance here. Then you can see it became a support here. Then it breaks the support and it jumps right back over the support in here. Boom. So we got this trend line here as well, right? Then after we can take this trend line here and we can do the same thing. We can draw here to the bottom of that move that just happened, or this move right here, and keep drawing it. So this is how more or less I'm going to draw trend lines throughout my chart, right? Take all that off real quick. next, when I'm drawing the trend line, right? Besides that, you're gonna have like more horizontal trend lines too, or like horizontal lines, levels, or whatever you want to call them. So you got like things like this where you're gonna draw at the top, you get that one, and I always like to double up on lines. In this case, it's not really a double up because it hits this top, but it is kind of a double up, right? Because if we go to a higher time frame, these are probably just wicks right here, right? On a higher time frame. So again, we have another set of levels. Even right here, you can see that we have this level here, right? And then we got this level here, right? So that's a double line. Then we got this level here, right? So this is like the basics on how I would do a chart and break it down. Now, if we go back again and we zoom in on the section that we're working with. Now, this is where the good stuff comes in, right? Because now we have a section in the market that we want to know, how do I know where the market is going, right? Now, it's not necessarily that I know where something is going. I want to more look at it like I potentially know where something is going with like strong validation to that, right? And that's because what I've been doing in the market consistently happens over and over again, right? So first, let's break this down and come down again to another time frame. And even with this right here, right, we could start right here with what was this 2021 when the market hit this the first head and then it broke down. Now, I've had many discussions with many different people in many different discords, trading groups, and all of that stuff. I remember the market being way down here and me telling everybody that the market was getting ready to go back up and retest this top. And people were like, there's no way we're about to go down lower, right? Everybody's thought process on going down lower was that this dip right here happened and we needed to go back down here to retest that dip. And my thought process to that was if we take a look at like the past, right? I guess we need the monthly for this one more time. But if we took a look at the past, right, and we see price goes, had the dip, it goes again, had the dip, goes again, more or less. We had this dip, it goes again, and if you kind of look at this, let me see if I take this off. No, if I can leave that on. If you kind of look at it, right, this was like more of a straighter parabolic move, right? As opposed to these are like kind of take its time to get here. So with this move, since this was like more of a parabolic move, and then you see we had this, excuse me, had this consolidation right here. I would personally think that this consolidation right here would be the area at which the market should have went straight, right? Or not even straight, but just kind of like crept up from here, right? So we got here. We could have, should have probably did something more like this. Even right here, right? Should have been something like that to where we are now, right? So it shouldn't have went way up here and then to where we're at today. It should have kind of crept here into where we're at today. So a lot of people just say, "Oh, we should have had this drop all the way back down to like 320." I was in that kind of group of people as well at one point. Oh, we should come back down here to three, not three, uh, like 200 something and all of that, right? And what I've kind of learned in the market is that when you're going back to retest an area, it is kind of like the area where we should have been, right? So this is in my opinion where we should have broke out from, right here, right? Like we should have crept over here and then broke out from here. So we actually came back and retested that area where we should have broke out from, and now we're going again. And now, if I were to take this monthly chart, right, and I've never done this before, right? I've never analyzed this part of the chart. So I'm doing this live with you all. If I'm looking at this right here, I'll see like a bull flag right here, right? Something like that. And being that this is roughly a bull flag and we have this target up here, if I were to take a, let's take this to measure this target. Let's call this the top of the target right there. Bring this down to where we came from, like roughly there. And this isn't exact to my drawings, right? This is just something I put together real quick right now. If I draw this to here, where does this roughly come down to? Right? It comes down to this green candle right here, right? So this green candle is, in my opinion, this is the bull flag that was created, and that was the measured move off the bull flag, right? So you have a bull flag here, and then this basically told you where the bull flag was going, right? And look what happens when we get to that target. We consolidate, right? So we got a consolidation, and then we drop. We dropped all the way back down to roughly the top of this order block, and then we took off again, right? Now, another person might look at it like this, right? And nah, the measurement is a little different when you look at it like this. But let's see what happens with this one. All right, so let's say this is the measurement for the breakout. And if I were to bring this here, right, let's go down to a lower time frame and see if this adds up anywhere. And this one more or less doesn't add up anywhere other than it being that this is where we broke out from off of this uh, downward pattern, right? Because yeah, you can kind of say it works the same, right? Because this right here would be technically a morning star pattern, right? And then this is where we broke out of the morning star pattern from, right? This is the top of the doji. And because we breaking out of the morning star pattern here, this area right here would be the start of the new pattern, right? So if that's the start of the new pattern, and we're calling this the breakout of the pattern, right? Then this kind of actually also works out. So again, and people are gonna say, "Oh, you kind of like fishing for stuff." And nah, not really, because there's multiple patterns within the chart. So when you're looking for things, it doesn't have to come from one point of view, right? And I'll show you that over and over again. Um, Different time frames are going to present different patterns, but all in all, they should kind of have the same measurements at the end of the day to where your targets are. All right, so that was like getting to the top target to the top of 2022 and the 2021. Then we all saw this one right here. We all had the head and shoulders planned out, right? I believe it was something like this. And then the market dropped, boom, and kept going. So a lot of people saw it as the head and shoulders. Me, I'm a little different, right? And what I saw this as was actually an inverted cup and handle, right? If I'm not mistaken, I had it as an inverted cup and handle. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I had it like where's my tool at? Hmm. Thought I had it like an inverted cup and handle. So this is like a little while ago too. Right. So I think I had it just like this, right? And it worked out. So I had it doing this, then came up here, boom, then it broke down. So yeah, I had it as an inverted cup and handle. Some people had it as a head and shoulders. I like the inverted cup and handle thing better, right? So we had the inverted cup and handle. We ended up breaking down. If I take the measurement off of this inverted cup and handle here, something like this. Let me draw the horizontal line to the bottom of this one. I think it was something like that. Right then, we had the breakdown out of this joint, and boom, we end up hitting right here. So out of that, we also had like these little peaks out of this. Um, I think I might have went down to that first peak right here to this one. To be honest, I think I had it something like that. Then if we put that on there, we see that this is where we ended up. Like in, I think this is May or something like that. No, this is June. So we ended up here in June. Then we had the bounce, and then had the bounce here, and then price kept going. So then next thing was that I saw on this was if we go back to the monthly, let's find the chart real quick. Here we go. So on the monthly view now, we come down to this section here, and this section right here on the monthly view gave us an ascending triangle look, right? So we had this on the monthly view, right? And right here, you can even see on the monthly view, and I'm gonna show it to you from another view, is we have this ascending triangle, right? Let's see where this target went, right? And we had the target right there on the ascending triangle, which is roughly right here, right? But we can bring it down. You can see that this is the level of support, right? So, but on this monthly view right here, you can see we had a breakout, right? We had a retest on this line right here, right? And then we had to go again. So we had a breakout, retest, and another breakout. So this is kind of the premise on which I trade, right? And again, I know other people trade like this, but you don't really hear about it a lot, right? You rarely hear about people talking about breakout, reversal, retest, and then breakout again. I like to just call it be right back or BRB or BRRB, whatever you want to call it. But I like to say, call it like the be right back method, right? Like we break out and it's, I'll be right back, come back, and then I'll break out again, right? So that was from a monthly view to see what was going on, right? And then if this was our area of profit, you would have taken profit here. You would have got one more month that went up without you. Then it would have came back and retest this support, and then it breaks out again to where we are now, right? From another view, right? We go down to the weekly. If I were to get rid of these trend lines here from the weekly view, the next reason I knew that price was headed back up to here. Again, we always want to retest breakdowns, right? So let me draw these lines a little straighter real quick. Let's just say these are my lines, right? And I really don't care about the back one as much as I do the front one. But let's say these are my lines, right? So that means that price breaks down right here. So if I take this right here, I put it here, price roughly breaks down right here, right? If we go to the right, we see where price came back to retest this. But how did I know that price was going back to retest that? One, because I work off the be right back method, which is breakdown. In this case, breakdown, retest, right? Consolidation, and then another breakout, right? Also, we had this pattern right here, right? So if I take this, I clone this, I bring this over here, then I connect the lines. Take this one, clone that, connect it down here. What do we have? We have a diamond bottom, right? And how do diamond bottoms normally work? Price drops into the diamond, price breaks out of the diamond. Where does the price go? It goes right back to where it came from, right? So that was one way to look at this, right? And then what happens? So I like to clone like whenever I have like wicks sticking out, because these will be wicks on a higher time frame, I like to clone the line that's close to it so that we can get like the actual breakout, which was like roughly in this area, right? Well, I guess we could call this was our original breakout. Then it came back down and broke out. But anyway, from this original breakout, what happens over here to the right? Price retests that original breakout, and then we go again, right? Again, we can look at that and see that boom, we hit, and then we kept going to where we are today. We could take this little section right here, right? And I'm going to show you this from another perspective as well. But we could take this little section right here. We got this trend line going here. Technically, this is a double tap, right? We'll take the measurement off the double tap, right? We know that it's a double tap. It makes the M. It comes back up right here. It retests this neckline, and then it drops. If I were to take this and put this at the bottom of the neckline, right, as the measurement, might be a little off just because of me not zooming in. But if I take that, if I take this horizontal line tool, and I do that, where we hit right here, then we reverse. So we have another one, another breakdown, reversal. The reversal retests the neckline, and then it finishes the move. After it finishes the move, it breaks out. So now we got another breakout. Running up. Out of this breakout right here, we get to this section right here. This section right here is a broadening wedge, right? So we got a wedge there. What happened? This was the most recent drop that we had in the market. How did I know that this wasn't going to continue falling? Because we had a retest right there. Now that we got the retest, we bounce right off of that. And why are we just running up and not pulling back? So we have, from this point, we have some things that need to happen. First off, we need price to clear this level right here, right? If price doesn't clear this level, then we'll have a double tap. And then we'll start making our way back down. I'll get into the reason why that would make sense to happen according to the chart. But then I'll also give you the next move up out of this, right? So again, we take a measurement. I want to believe that's the measurement. And we put it on top of here, right? This is where we're breaking out from. And no, that's a little short. I don't think that was the measurement. Roughly something like this, though, right? My bad. Let's fix that. Something like that, right? Like I said, I don't like to be biased. I like to just put these where they should go. Matter of fact, let's fix this line, right? Because that would be the line right there. But yeah, you make it's a little closer, but it's not it, right? I just would have to kind of zoom in to really get the correct information. But let's just duplicate this line for now and bring this down to this line right here, right? So technically, you kind of see anyway that right here we hit this mark right here. This would have been your take profit. This was the first red bar, right? So that would have been your take profit. Then it happened to turn back around again. What happened right here? It's just consolidating, really, because every time you complete a measured move, you get a consolidation period, right? Now that we did the consolidation period, what did it do? Had to come back here to this breakdown or breakout to retest it before it goes further, right? So here's another. Be right back. Boom, went off. Said, yo, I'll be right back. Boom, came back. Now this took a couple of weeks, couple of months before it came right back. But boom, left, be right back. What happened? It hit right here. Why did it run up so fast? So it ran up so fast this time because the retest actually occurred on a monthly time frame, right? So when you look at this from the monthly time frame, you see that this is where we broke out from, and the retest was on a monthly time frame. So once this hit down here on this monthly, we got the price breaking out like crazy to get back up. So what would be the next target? Well, this is more or less a bear flag, right? And the last place that it had a breakout, I want to believe, where would I consider this breakout from? Now I'm trying to do this all on the fly, right? So, well, not on the fly, but fresh without my old notes. But this would be the breakout, right? So this would be the breakout from this downtrend here. So then this would be the consider our whole breakout. And then I would come here and put that here on this breakout. And this measures to 606. So with this measurement to 606, this would be technically my next target. Like my next major target in the market would be like 606. I would just target the 600 area, right? So that's one of the processes with how I figured this whole thing out and how I actually get my targets and why my targets are always 9 times out of 10 on point, right? And I do this without listening to any news, any catalyst, anything like that, right? There's days that you don't want to trade, obviously, when um, they have like Fed meetings and things like that. And the only reason that I would say not to trade on those days is because those days, more or less, like the premiums get ate up, right? Especially because a lot of people don't trade with time, right? A lot of people try to time the market. Me, I trade with time. So I might buy the contract for 3 weeks out, for 4 weeks out, for a month out, for 2 months out, where a lot of people are buying these contracts for 1 week out. When it comes to the SPY, they're buying zero DTEs. And you're really just gambling at that point, hoping for the big move when you can play with more time and kind of just be there when the big move happens, you're not going to make as much money as a shorter term contract, but you're going to make more safer money, right? Where you don't have to worry about getting burned by theta, or you don't have to worry about your contract expiring uh, 30 minutes before the target is hit, or you don't have to worry about your contract expiring the week before it actually happens, right? So you want to be there before it all takes place, right? So that's one way of how we get to the 600 target, right? But I'm going to show you that you can chart multiple ways and find the same targets, right? So I'm going to stay on the monthly real quick. Well, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to go down to, let's see if it's the weekly or the daily. I guess we can see it on the weekly and the daily. I guess I like it from the daily a little more though. So instead of looking at that as a diamond pattern, we can look at this as cup and handle as well. So I remember getting a whole bunch of mess about this as well, right? Whole bunch of mess about this. You got a cup and shoulders because they were calling it like head and shoulders, or inverse head and shoulders, and you got the cup and shoulders going on, and again, people just don't understand how to trade when it comes to like pattern trading, right? So people rather make jokes about things that they don't know about instead of trying to learn what they don't know about. So here, right here, we have a cup and handle, right? Cup goes, handle breaks, price starts running up. Take the horizontal line right here. This is the top. Boom. That's where we broke out, kept going, right? If I take the measurement of this cup and handle, top to bottom, take this, put this on top of this. Amazingly, this hits my same target. Now, I gave you this 600 target from over here somewhere, right? I just gave you the measurement of the cup to the 600, same 600 target, right? So there's a million ways to look at this, right? So, and just showing you this shows you that in my mind for a long time now, right? Not just yesterday. This is October. We finished this cup in July 2023. So since July 2023, once this cup finished, I've always had this 600 target in my sights, right? What skews this is the noise from the market. So while you're in the market and you're watching the dailies, you're watching the 15-minute, all of this stuff gets pushed to the back of your mind, right? So then you're going to stop thinking about it. You're not going to say, hey, I should get into the $600 call now, because the next part comes with how much time do I need before I get to this 600 call, right? So instead of just buying the 600 call, you're going to hold off on buying it because you're like, how much time do I need to get it, right? So had you bought 600 calls for 2025 back in 2023, right? One, they would have been dirt cheap. Two, you'd be in the money. Well, I don't want to say you'd be in the money, but your contracts would be up right now, right? And like I said, the big thing with that is just kind of when does it happen, right? So again, I can show you another target on this same $600 play, and I just showed you two. So I showed you one from here, from this breakout, right? And I'm going to show you another one from right here, right? So again, how was I able to be in this run up all the way back up to here? So right, I played this all the way up to 552. I was in the 550 calls, right? And I was in the 550 calls from like right around here, like 530, something like that. And that's just because I can't play everything, right? I can't put my money in every single play, not just yet. But that's the only reason why I'm not in like 600 calls, because I jumped into other plays as soon as the market touched this 510 area. The day that Monday when we opened up, I jumped into calls immediately for the SPY, for Meta, for Tesla. And we all seen what those plays also did. But again, let's go back to be right back, right? So we broke out here, never retested this. I'll be right back. Came back, boom, going again. Now this section right here, here's my thought process. This has always been my thought process since we've been breaking down, right? Once I seen certain moves happen, I'm like, looks like we're making an inverse head and shoulders. Come here, boom. And this is why I sold my contract, was because I thought that this right here would have been the top of the inverse head and shoulders, right? It was I didn't go to 555. I sold it like 553 or something like that, 554. But price continued to go to 555. It then went to 560 overnight. And now we're like at 560 and caught up. What I think happens at 560 is either we kind of run up to like 562 and break down from 562 into this right shoulder, or if we don't break down from 562, price is going to continue and it's going to go to 565. Now, if price continues and goes to 565, this is invalid. This head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders becomes invalid. But what I think happens is that price is going to drop back down here to about 550 to 545, something like that. And maybe 540, 538, 536, anything like that. And then we take off again. Now, if you know about measuring moves, we come down from the top here, bring it down to the bottom of the move, then we put it on the breakout. So that breakout goes a little higher. It's like 615. Yeah, that's like 615. Let me see if I can zoom into this a little bit better. But yeah, something like that. That breakout goes to 615. Still in the same 600 area. I take a horizontal line, put that up there. prior to the 615 move, how I got the 600 move was because I thought that price was going to stop right here at 552. And if I took that and go from 552, you roughly get like that 600. Well, it would be up here off of this move, a little higher than 552. But however you cut it, it still brings us right back to that 600 area, right? A little higher than the 552, but right there, same thing. Brings us right back to that whole 600 move, right? Um, Price right now is here. Again, we'll see what happens next. And again, if we break out and go to 565 and keep going, it's not that it's not warranted, right? Like we have this breakdown right here, and this has a measurement. And the measurement out of this is really like 568 to 566 or something like that. So if we happen to break out of well, the retest off of this, if the retest off of this happens to go to 568 non-stop, that's cool. And again, this is a monthly move, right? So when you're looking at this on a monthly chart, right, this inverse head and shoulders could happen, right? Because it could pull back to here for the month, and then next month start right inside of there and break out and go to the upside, right? So if we go back again, this actually could continue to happen. So if I take this off too as well, really quick, if I were to take a horizontal ray, and the reason why I use rays sometimes is because it's an unbiased move, right? And if I take this ray and I put this here, and then I go to the top of this next wick right here, right? Possibility that this runs up all the way here, right? This 568, 569, right? Possibility it keeps running. So I like to draw these out without really having that bias, right? Of up and down type of, let me draw it so that it hits these marks and try to avoid doing that. But other than that, that's what we kind of looking at. And again, this came up, cracked down here, went up. Even right here, we had the measure moves off of the inverse head and shoulders, right? So this was the inverse head and shoulder right here. Boom, 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 boom. So a lot of people would have kind of drew it down here. That wasn't it. This was the inverse head and shoulder. We broke down the first time, came right back up, retested that neckline, took that big drop, right? After we finished this move down, started coming right back up. Boom. Look at exactly where we're at and we're rejecting, right? So a lot of people would be looking like, oh, why are we rejecting right here? This is exactly why we're rejecting right here. Because we hit here, right? We just brought ourselves all the way back up to the neckline, and now we're rejecting. Personally, I think that we reject and we drop down here, right? So where are we supposed to drop to? Um, Personally, I would think that we're dropping down to right here. So we hit there, and we hit there, right? And then we drop down here. This becomes our inverse head and shoulders, right? So we had the head and shoulders to the top. Now we got the inverse head and shoulders to the bottom, right? So this is my thought process on the market. This has nothing to do with news, nothing to do with a catalyst, nothing to do with who told me how to get here, how not to get here. I've been trading like this for years, and in my opinion, this is how the market works. And if you understand this part of the market, you'll understand how to make money out here all the time. Even these big moves that just happened in the market recently, with I think Beyond Meat was the one where Beyond just kind of took off the other day. There was a chart pattern involved in that, and it worked out. The measurement to that chart pattern worked out to the T. None of this stuff, in my opinion, is like random acts of God, right? All of this information is put in a computer, it's randomized. Sometimes it's going to take longer than others, and it's our job to figure out how these patterns lay to take us to these next steps. Now, this was a little quick lesson on it, right? You can rewind this video 30 times, 40 times, and hopefully figure it out. If you don't, again, I got classes, I teach this. Don't be afraid to spend some money, to make some money, like make yourself a better person. I don't think that I necessarily should have to give this out for free. This is over 14 years of my time and dedication to trading, to figuring this out. And I feel like if I'm going to spend time with you individually and push you into learning how to do this the same way that I know how to do this, I feel like compensating me is uh, the least of, I guess, like your problem, right? Like we can all win together. We can all eat together. I spend a lot of time with the people that I train, and they all make money, man. So if you want to join that team of money makers, feel free to get with me. In the description of this video, you'll see links to my Discord. You'll see links to some of the brokers that I use. And you'll see a link to the Facebook group as well if you're interested in joining. Like I said, the Facebook group is now starting out, so the members are still coming in. Add yourself to the group. You'll get a lot of good insight in there. And yeah, I want to see everybody become better traders. I want to see everybody kind of understand this. Again, there's a million ways to skin a cat, so they say, right? It's not just one way to do this. I feel like this is one of the easiest ways to learn how to trade. Now, if you want to use another method, and I know other methods as well, right? So I know the Elliott wave, I know the strat, I know chart patterns, I know bar combinations, right? And I just like knowing all of these different things so that I can compare them to other to each other and see if they're all coming up with roughly the same answers, right? I know harmonic patterns. So again, if you want to learn, all the links will be in the description of this video. Shoot me an email, go on Facebook, shoot me an instant message, and Let's all become better together. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video. These type of videos are far and in between. I really don't go into depth on these types of videos because if you really want this type of knowledge, you could rip through a million YouTube videos like I did to pick the sense from the nonsense, or you could join the class. So, with that said, everybody enjoy your nights, enjoy your mornings, and if you found this video any type of helpful, throw a thumbs up, share it with somebody you know, and till the next one, peace.